How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller and full-time student, and in today's video we're going to be looking at kind of a beginner's deep dive into some various business models you can try out when you're first starting to sell on Amazon. One of these is the exact way that I started, and then a second way is a little more online-based business model that I would recommend starting out. It can feel a little overwhelming when you're first starting out, so I'm going to kind of give a bird's eye view into two different business models that I think you could have success with learning when you're first starting out selling on Amazon. So we're going to go ahead and just jump straight into that. Before we do that, I just want to say that only about 25% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, click the button below. It helps me out a ton and it's free. Thanks, guys. So the first business model I recommend for you beginners is selling books on Amazon, used books, whatever you can get your hands on. These are going to be books that you get from thrift stores, library sales, yard sales, wherever you can find used books. And the reason that I think this is a great way to start learning on Amazon is because your capital requirements for a book business is super low. All the books you're going to be buying are $1 to $3, especially when you're first starting out. So those mistakes are a lot easier than, say, if you started out in wholesale or something like that, where you're making big $5,000 purchase orders. You don't want to make a mistake on that, but if you make a mistake, make a shipping mistake or make a buying mistake, it's only going to cost you, $1, $2 versus a pretty good chunk of change if you're starting out in wholesale. So the first thing you're going to need to sell books on Amazon is to get you a scanner just like this. There's going to be a link down below to this specific scanner that I use. I've used that scanner ever since I started out. It's like $40, and I have never had any issues with them. So it's definitely worth that initial purchase. And then you're also going to pair that with some software here. And the software that you're going to use to pair with this Bluetooth scanner is called Scout IQ. It's a really simple little app that you put on your smartphone. You're just going to link it up to your iPhone or whatever you got, and then put this here. You're going to grab it just like this when you're at the thrift store and then just shoot at the barcodes on the books. I have a more in-depth tutorial on that, but it's really a simple app. It's going to show you, it's going to light up green. It's going to give you an audio cue when the data makes sense. It's going to interpret that data for you, and you'll learn how to read the data as you go. But again, there's going to be a more in-depth tutorial up at the top right now, just for the sake of keeping this video short. If you want to get an in-depth look into how Scout IQ works, go ahead and check that out right now. The second software you're going to need is called Keepa. And what Keepa does is it tracks prices over time on Amazon listings. And it's about $17 a month, but it's worth it. It's worth every penny because it's going to prevent you from making bad buying decisions, and it's going to help you know the right price to sell the book for. So this is just an example of a book that I've sold recently. You can see this Keepa chart right down here. Again, there's going to be another link to how to read Keepa charts. There's a lot of learning that you're going to have to do at the beginning, but once you get over that learning curve, it's pretty straightforward as far as selling books goes. So this green line here is sales rank. That's when it sells. So you can see it's a textbook because these green lines are dropping during August and January when students are coming back into session. And then this black line is the used price. And you can see how this used price kind of always returns back up to this $25, 20-ish price point during textbook season. And back here, it looks like it was about $10. So the reason you would want Keepa in this case is because if you bought the book here and it's selling for $10, you're going to want to be able to look at this price chart and say, okay, so last semester when it was in high demand, the book was selling for $26. So I'm going to hold out and not sell it for $10 now. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and sell it for this $25 price point if I just wait a couple weeks. So that's going to massively increase your returns on those investments. So if you're really serious about getting into Amazon, definitely check out Keepa. You're going to need it very soon, if not right at the beginning. And then this next software I have for you, this is, it's not super software. It's just a professional account for your Amazon account. And all that's going to do is allow you to use third-party softwares like Scout IQ, like a repricer. And it's also going to take away the $1 per sale fee that all beginners have. So if you're selling 40 units a month or more, then it's break even, or you're saving money to go ahead and purchase this. I think I bought my professional account like 2 or 3 weeks into selling because it's really, really easy to get to that 40 sales a week or 40 sales a month, sorry. And then that's your break even point. You're not technically even paying anything at that point. And then this last software I have is recommended, not necessarily required right at the start. It's called Be Cool. It's just a simple repricer. So this is what Be Cool looks like. Once you get in, you're going to be able to adjust the prices depending on the book, you're going to be able to click through to this listing here. So you can check out this listing, and then you're going to look at your Keepa chart. And then based on whatever this Keepa chart tells you the book is likely to sell for, you're going to go in here and set a minimum price and a maximum price. And then every 15 minutes, it's going to adjust down to whatever repricing rules you have. Mine just matches the lowest price for the used FBA offer. And that seems to be the simplest way to go ahead and make sure that your book is always in the buy box, meaning that that book is going to be the first option or one of the first options a buyer would see, just to make sure that that pricing stays competitive, because especially once you get couple hundred listings, it's going to be really hard to go ahead and monitor all those listings and make sure that those prices are right. And then this is just going to take out that legwork, and it's definitely well worth the small fee you pay for it. And then there's also a lot more softwares that you can get into using. You can get into using some online book sourcing softwares like Flipmine or Zen Arbitrage. But this is probably the bare minimum for what you're going to need to just get started. And that's going to give you $126 a month in costs here. But I'm actually going to go ahead and show you, this is my first month that I could find on my listing software. A listing software you're going to want pretty soon, but it's not absolutely required right off the beginning. It's just going to save you a bunch of time while you're sending your books in. So once you get to the point where you're consistently sending in books, you're going to want to go ahead and get a listing software, but it's not required right when you get started. I probably waited 2-3 months. I probably would have done it sooner than that in retrospect, but it's not absolutely required when you first start. But you can see this is the first month that I have data for. This is pretty much when I first started. When I have sales data. So it looks like during this first month, I made about $271. Definitely nothing to write home about, but you're already in the black. You're already doubling what you had to spend on that, and you're learning how to send into Amazon. You're learning what the return process is like. You're learning how to price your books. You're learning just how to get your feet wet in selling on Amazon, and you're doing it at a really low cost because those books are more or less free when you compare it to the other business models where you're spending a lot on product. The book's business model, I would say, is perfect if you have lower capital you want to start with, or maybe you just want to start with a lower risk option and spend less money. That makes total sense. I started with books for probably the same reason, but this is, if you have a lot of time and you don't want to spend a bunch of money, books is a great way to start, because you're going to be able to just go out and go to those thrift stores and just scan bookshelves using Scout IQ until you get a decent little chunk of inventory. So the second business model that I've suggested for you guys to start with here is called online arbitrage, and that's basically just when you're flipping from Walmart, Target, Ulta, whatever websites you like to use, and then you're going to find Amazon listings where those products are selling for considerably more, and then you're just going to be able to flip those products there. And then this is kind of the list of software that you're going to need for this. So it's a little bit more expensive, and online arbitrage, the products you're buying are just going to be more expensive inherently because they're new from retail stores and not used books from thrift stores. So the first software you're going to need is Keepa. I already showed you guys how to use Keepa-ish on the books portion, and then you're also going to need that to use tactical arbitrage. Keepa is absolutely 100% essential if you're going to be using tactical arbitrage, because that's how you're going to see the data. That's how you're going to interpret the data that you get from tactical arbitrage. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just an example of a product that I was selling recently using tactical arbitrage. It's this 2-pack of sugar-free sundae syrup. Here's the Keepa right here. I stopped selling it when the price started dropping, and it was hard to find in stock, but this is what it looked like for a while. So it was selling for $18 to $16.99. So let's just say we're going to sell it for $16 or $17.5 right there in the middle. And then I was buying it here at Walmart for $3 a bottle. So plus your shipping here, so it was $2.88 times 2 plus shipping is going to be about $6. You could make it like $6.1 to include the cost of the poly bag, because when you're selling 2-packs like this, you're going to have to poly bag the items together. Really simple process though. So on these, I was making about $5 a unit. This was a really good flip here. 30% margin. Usually I'm happy with less than this on margin, just to have a realistic expectations for what kind of margins you're going to get. But this was a pretty decent flip. And then you can also use a tool like Jungle Scout. There's also junglescout.com/estimator. Let's just go to it right now. And then this is a free version of what I'm about to show you. You can go ahead and type in the seller's rank. which you're going to find by just looking at the Keep a chart, or you can go down here and it's going to tell you that it's 35,000 in grocery. But you can also use this Chrome extension. This Chrome extension's about $200 a year, I think. So it's not cheap, but it'll save you time once you kind of get into it. So this product is selling 107 times a month, split between 9 sellers, and they might not all be competitive. So let's say, let's just check out the pricing here. So it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3 competitive sellers who are at this current price. So we would sell 25 units of this a month. And then that 25 times the $5 here, that's going to give you, doing my math here, that's going to be $125 a month, which you see already pays for Tactical Arbitrage. And that's just one product. If you find 5, 10, 15, 20 of those products, it's going to add up really quickly. And then this is a lot of what I've been doing in my current business right now is online arbitrage, just finding a lot of products like that. And then they're all just going to add up to that big volume that you're looking for. You're also going to want to have Be Cool for online arbitrage. That's going to make sure that your prices are always competitive, make sure that your products are cycling through. With online arbitrage and business models where you're spending more money, you're going to want to make sure that you're constantly getting as many sales as you can, even if the prices are dropping by pennies every now and then, because you just need that constant capital flow. If you're making money on the sale, making the margins you're looking for, you just need to constantly have that capital churning, because a lot of this is going to be looking for relatively low margin, high volume products is what I do. And then that's going to help you cycle that capital and just put more money, and then it's going to help you snowball that capital influx at the beginning. And then you're also going to probably need a professional account pretty soon. You'll be able to sell a lot more products with online arbitrage. You'll be able to sell more products with lower margin using online arbitrage. So this is a little bit better if you have a little bit more money to spend at the start. I'd say $500 to $1,000 to start out, just so you can pay for those softwares when you're first starting out. Now that I'm thinking about it, definitely towards the $1,000 price point on this. Just so you can pay for those softwares right at the beginning. Make sure you've got plenty of money for the actual products. And then just to show you how powerful of a tool Tactical Arbitrage really is, I'm going to go ahead and just show you really quick how I would go ahead and set up searches in Tactical Arbitrage. There's a way more in-depth detail. I've got several videos on Tactical Arbitrage on the channel, but I'll throw one of them up here right now. The first way you're going to be able to do it is search whatever websites you want. So let's just check out Walmart, for example. It's going to show you some categories over here. You're going to be able to select whatever category you're ungated in. That is going to be an issue when you're first starting out, is gating. I would suggest maybe starting in something like grocery, because it's relatively easy to get ungated in. You can check out one of my videos on getting ungated in grocery, and that's going to cost you not a lot, but you do need some legal paperwork. You do need to be an established LLC with a reseller's permit, I believe, to go ahead and get those invoices, and then you're going to use those invoices to get ungated with Amazon. So let's just say we want to search grocery here. We're going to go ahead and find food. We're going to select it. We're going to click add to bulk. And then that's going to go ahead and throw basically every product that Amazon or Walmart sells that's food into a search. We're going to go down here and you're going to select any discounts you have. Walmart probably doesn't have any coupon codes, but if you have the Walmart cash back card, that's going to give you 5% cash back. So that's going to kind of include that in your profit calculations. And then you're also going to be able to use this pretty powerfully. Say a lot of times maybe ulta.com will be running a really good coupon. So you'll be able to put your, I don't know, 20% coupon here and then your 2% cash back from your credit card. And that's just to help you find some more leads. And then you would just press, I'm just going to go ahead and fix this real quick. You would just go ahead and leave that cash back for Walmart, and then you're just going to press search, and then that's just going to run overnight. And then later on, you can go ahead and press view data, and then you're going to be able to sort through this data using your knowledge of Keep a charts, and you just go ahead and make those buying decisions. What I like to do a lot more of is this reverse search, where I will find a seller, or I'll find a product that I know is probably an OA product, like this sugar-free syrup. I will go ahead and check out the sellers. I'll go here, and then I will just click on their seller storefront right here. I will go to their storefront, and then this right here is called their marketplace ID. So this is like the seller ASIN, more or less. So products have an ASIN, so do sellers. And then I'm going to throw this in here. And then Tactical Arbitrage is going to go ahead and search their products against all the websites they know about. and then see if there's any profit opportunities there, because a lot of times if you're finding OA products, then there's probably, you know, naturally it's just going to be OA sellers on that listing, and it's going to go ahead and search those online arbitrage websites for those profitable opportunities, and it's just going to go ahead and run that search for you. So I know that's a lot of information really quickly. You're going to want to go ahead and watch a lot more YouTube before you really get your feet wet. I know I personally just watched a crap load of YouTube for the first week or two, really just kind of learning the ins and outs. The two options for you guys that I would really suggest are books and online arbitrage. Those are great ways for beginners to get their feet wet and then maybe eventually go on to something like wholesale or private labeling, just to kind of learn the waters of Amazon before you really get too into it and lose a bunch of money. All the links for the softwares and stuff are going to be down below. I have some free trials and cool offers for you guys, some coupon codes, and that also greatly helps support the channel, and I really appreciate you guys using those codes. If you want to go ahead and check out the Facebook group, we're trying to build that up, connect with each other, just make it a good resource to reference in the future when you're making your buying decisions or whatever you're up to. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys.